Do you want to be an ethical leader? Are you looking at the sustainability of your business long term? And do you want your team to be there long term as well? Some practical things that you can do within your team right now is give your team something where they're like, holy shit, I never thought that I could do that. What? You're really willing to let me go there? I'm like, yeah, absolutely. This is the path that I would like you to go down so that you can get to there. How did I get them from earning $700 a week to earning $4,000 and $5,000 a week? I welcome wisdom keepers, soul tribe, and new earth leaders to Soul Temple, your haven for self-discovery and growth. I'm Blythe Langford, and I am your guide to finding yourself and your true purpose. Together, let's shift from feeling stuck and misaligned to living a life of purpose and prosperity. What is divine leadership? I am so happy that you asked that question, because divine leadership, no, it's not like all other leadership. Divine leadership is how we are going to bridge the gap and make a change in this world forever. Divine leadership is what is coming into and what we are creating for the future. Divine leadership is a way of running your team as if it is a collective that is in harmony together. Now, what I mean by this is it's not from an authoritarian top-down leadership model. It is about the owner, the boss, the leaders actually driving and mentoring the team to get the best out of the team, not only for the business, but for the benefit of the team as well. So being an ethical leader means that you, or maybe your managers, are educated in how to deal with each team member individually. Now, what I mean by this is every single team member has their own unique reason for showing up to work each and every day. And as a leader, it's up to you or your manager to figure out why that person has come into your business. What inspires them? What is going to make them show up each and every day and give you more and more each and every single day? How are you going to enroll them and get them so invested in your company, in your brand, in your business that they don't want to leave, that they want to be there more than you? That is divine leadership. It's when you bring the divine through them so that they can channel what's going on in your business, right? Whew, I got goosebumps. It is just a different way of being and existing and leading. Now, I want to give you a really specific example of this. I had my businesses ever since I was 24. I had specific salon businesses and been in business since I was a teenager. But when I had my businesses, my staff and my team, it got to the point where I had mentored them and put every single bit of energy and effort into them and their growth and their potential, and figuring out what drove them, every single one of them. What did they want in their personal life? What did they want in their career? What did they want to feel in their bodies? How did they want to exist in the world? What did they want to experience in their lives? And how could I, as a leader, figure out how I can help them, empower them to figure out how they were going to get there? And how can my business be a tool that's going to give them the life that they actually want, so that they never want to leave, so that they're so enrolled and invested that they would stay there forever? So that's what I believe is divine leadership. Now, with my team, it was at the start me putting in all the effort to figuring out different leadership styles, figuring out how I was going to work with my team, figuring out what their needs were. And in the end, after I had developed my leadership skills and after I had a systemized model of how I led my teams, my teams ran so well that they're like, Blythe, we actually don't want you here because you hinder our growth and you hinder the business. I was like, what? I have literally just made my businesses this amazing workhorse where it runs and it functions better without me, because when I'm there, I'm so invested and enrolled in my teams, and they're like, that's great, but we're invested and enrolled in the business, and we're going to make this business thrive. So in the end, me going away on holidays and me going away and learning all these amazing things to inspire myself was what actually got the most out of the team, because they were already running the business to its fullest potential. They were top in our company in in Australia. They were head leaders, they were head educators, they were earning 3-4 times more than other people, and they did it in a lot less time frame. So that's what I hope happens with you. And that's what my clients have actually come to do, is change how they work as a leader and delegate a lot more after they've gotten their team completely enrolled and invested in their business. And then they get to have more time off. Everybody gets to have more time off, and everybody gets to make more money, and the business is more successful and thriving. So, how do you become an ethical leader? It's about developing a new level of care and consideration and respect for yourself, your business, and your team. How you get there is by doing some inner work on yourself. Personal development, meditation, breath work, plant medicine, walks in nature, but having a clean vessel, respecting yourself so much that respect flows through into your business and into your team. Having self-respect and self-honor and obsession with being a better version of yourself makes you an ethical leader and makes you be able to care and be respectful and be obsessed about the well-being of your staff. Because there's one thing to just, I call it, well, Anthony Robbins, when I worked with Anthony Robbins, he actually calls it whore trading. There's one thing to do something and you want a specific outcome. We call that whore trading, right? Like, it's like you're prostituting yourself because you're doing something in order just to receive something back. So there's no compassion, there's no ethical exchange there, right? There is instead this, well, I'm going to pay you for this, do this for me. It's like you're an authoritarian. It's like the world model that we're trying to step away from. So when you're an ethical leader, it's about actually seeing your team and each staff member as an individual and considering and going in there just with an open book, having no idea about what it is that they need or want, and actually wanting to find out. So it's like being a detective in your own business. It's like being a detective for the people that are in your team. And when you go in there with that open mind and that open heart, you end up falling in love with each one of your team members. Like, you just have a greater love and respect for them, and you actually want the best for them and their lives. Whether it's in your business or whether they're going to be there for a short time or a long time, it's irrelevant, because it's about how can that person have the best life possible whilst being in your care, because your business is your care, right? So that's what being an ethical leader is all about. It's about going above and beyond the mainstream and being a real new earth leader in your own business now, so that your business, once that you are being that leader for your team, then your team will lead their clients as well and be that leader for their clients. So it's just a different way of looking at everything. It's more of a heartfelt way of looking at everything. So if you haven't been running your business that way, amazing. Congratulations for even becoming aware about it. Now, how do we take steps to get your team enrolled? So the first thing to think about is when there is going to be a change in the business at all, especially when it comes to something like this, your team isn't going to trust you, and they're going to think that you're doing things differently, and they're going to question it. What you are going to need to provide to them is a level of safety, because they're just nervous about why you're changing. So, and they're also nervous about why you're changing, but also nervous about, is this going to be something that's long-term, or is this just another fleeting moment that you're going through, and when you're over it, then you're done and dusted and you won't give a shit about them anymore. So it's up to you to really step in and consider whether this is something that you want long-term. Do you want your business to thrive in this way? Do you want to be an ethical leader? Are you looking at the sustainability of your business long-term? And do you want your team to be there long-term as well? So some practical things that you can do within your team right now is, first of all, sit down with every single team member, or you sit down with your manager and you get them to do it. But if you can, what would be optimal would be with you sit down with every single team member and you run through a series of questions. The questions would be along the lines of, first of all, thanking them for being in your business, thanking them so much for all the work that they do, thanking them for showing up, thinking of all the great things that they do in your business. Start with with that level of respect and care to actually know what they do and know what they do well and honor them for that. This isn't about changing what they do well. It's about expanding on what they do well. This isn't about picking apart all the things that they do wrong. This is about expanding on what they do right, right? So knowing what they do really well, going in there and treating them with gratitude and respect. Second of all, asking them, what do you think this business is lacking? Remember, they've showed up every single day, besides their sickies, they've showed up every single day and they have got insights that you don't have. You want to get inside every single one of these team members' brains and figure out what they see and if there is any links that are missing in the chain that could benefit the business. So ask them, I'm really interested to know, what is it that you see in this business that you think could give us another edge or that you think would be positively impactful in the business? Then the third thing is you want to let them know everything that we say in this room stays between us. There's going to be a new level of confidentiality between us. Everything that we say in here, it is literally just between you and I. I'm not going to go and share it with anybody else. It's just so that I can get insights into what's going on in this business, what's going to benefit you, what's going to benefit the team, and how we can grow all together. So letting them know that there is this new level of security between you and them and the business. And that will just allow them over time, not straight away, because this is something that's going to take a bit of time to implement in your business. They need to see that they can trust you. They need to see that there is going to be confidentiality there. And they need to see that there's going to be small little changes. Maybe not everything that they recommend, but that you're going to consider everything. Then you're going to want to ask them what they would really love in order to stay in this business long term. What are the hours that they want to do? What is the income that they want to bring in for themselves? And you can say to them, like, dream big on this. Like, the world is your oyster. So literally tell me everything that you desire and I will see if I can figure out how to get it into the business and into your daily life. Because believe me, you probably can. That's what incentives are for. And I'll talk about that soon. You also want to ask them, are they happy? Are they actually happy in the business? And what would make them happier? Don't always go on rabbit holes of trauma or anything that's going to take a long time to come out of, because that can be detrimental to the time that you have. You want to be a really effective leader. Ask them what is going to make their time there happier and better and more fulfilling. What are the things that they really love? And if they were to have incentives in the business, what inspires them? So is it maybe more time off? Is it travel? Is it money? Is it spending more time with you? Is it community events? Is it going out for dinner? Is it whatever it is? Ask them what would make them happy as incentives for them to want to come to work more. And then if it is a staff member that does have a lot of time off or has sickies regularly, then you want to ask them, what would incentivize you to come to work more regularly? I know that you've got these health issues. I know that you've got these certain things. And what that presents to me is that there's something going on in the business that's not really aligning with you, that's making you feel that you don't want to show up all the time, or it's making you a little bit sick. Do you have any insights on that of what we can do to make it better for you? Because if they're a team member that you want to show up, get inside their head, get inside their body. That sounds terrible, but get inside what's going on with them and figure out a solution together so that it can help them come to work more. Because even if they're probably seeing the benefits of this business and where it can go, but it's probably just not at the speed that they really want to work towards. So they feel like they're slowing themselves down, and that's when illness and things can show up. So if you're on top of it and you're really aware of these things, then you can actually pre-predict them and you can start to create massive shifts with this. Now, I want to give you an example around this because I did this with all of my teams, and I had 3 businesses that were really in dire, and then I turned them around to 7 figures in short incremental times because I did this with every single one of my team members. When I went in, I did this straight away. I'd also have a group meeting as well, just letting them know that I am going to be sitting down with each one of them individually because I want to make this workplace as great as I possibly can for each and every one of them. And I'd also let them know in the team meeting that I'm doing this because I want their lives to be better. And I'm also doing this because I hope that we can come together as a team a lot stronger and really have everybody's needs be met. Now, normally, like I had hairdressing salons, really successful hairdressing salons, but it's very common in hairdressing salons for people to have sick days often, for people to not show up, for people to only be there for very short amounts of time. So I really wanted to change that dramatically. And this is the approach that I had, and it worked tenfold. So what I got out of every single staff member, bar one, was I want to work less hours. I want a 3-day weekend. I want to get paid at least double or triple what I'm already getting paid. And I want travel included in there as well and more training. And I was like, damn, okay, I'm going to figure this out. How am I going to give every single staff member a 3-day weekend? You open the business longer. You have longer days. So they had 2 short days and 2 long days, and they got a 3-day weekend every single weekend. How do you do that with a team? The business can't be closed 3 days. Exactly. So some people would have 2 days on and then a day off, and 2 days on and then 2 days off. So it just depended, but everybody got this great roster and they were stoked. And then with the time off, I was like, you guys will continue to get this roster if you coordinate having any time off. So what I mean by that is, if you're going to be sick, you need to figure out somebody who's going to come in your place and work for you. So they really worked together as a team. If there was somebody that was going to be sick, then they would organize for somebody else to take over their shift. So I didn't even half the time have to get involved. So this level of leadership allowed the delegation for my team to actually take control and be owners of their own business within my business. Now, the other thing, how did I get them from earning a base salon wage of $700 a week to earning $4,000 and $5,000 a week, each one of my senior staff members? I made their commissions next level ridiculous. So this is why they wanted to show up to work as well. They rarely had days off. Like there were people that never had a day off because they wanted to show up for those 4 days and smash it out to the best of their abilities, because they knew that if they came to work, they were going to make 4 or 5K rather than making $700 in a week. So they showed up. So I figured out how much money they would need to make in order for them to get these wages. And like that's more than 4 or 5x their wages, right? So they showed up, they wanted to be there. So I would invite you to actually look at the growth that you're after in your business, what you actually want, and how your team, if they were going to be incentivized, what could you share with them so that your figures, your turnover gets to that amount? That's what I did. I was like, I want my business, in order for me to smash out all of these bills and pay off all this debt, because I bought the business with a lot of debt. In order to pay off all this debt, how much money do I need to be making each and every year to cover that debt, to make my own lifestyle what I want, and to be able to get my staff 5x their wages? How much money would I need to make? And so I figured out this much money, the money that we needed to make, and I invite you to do the same thing. Figure out how much money you need to make, and then divvy it up between what you want, your debts are, your expenses, and what your staff want to earn as well. And then you'll actually come up with a figure, and you share that figure with your team, and you let them know this is what, like after you've done all your meetings and you figure out everything that they want, then you go back and you have another team meeting and you say, guys, I've spoken to each and every one of you now. I know what each and every one of you want. Like Cindy wants to go on holidays, Jonathan wants to go with his partner and buy a house. And then, depending, this person wants to buy a car, that person wants to go overseas travel, that person wants to work a 4-day weekend, this person wants to have a month off in the middle of the year to go traveling in Asia. Whatever it is, you know exactly what each one of those people want, and you're willing to give them what they want, right? So then you have a big team meeting, let them know, okay, cool, we know what everybody wants here. Now, this is the goal that we need to work on in order for us to achieve that goal of all of you guys being able to do this. But this is the bare minimum of what we need to achieve. So we need to think at least 50 or 20% higher than this figure, right? So the turnover we need is this, but we need to be setting our goal a lot higher than that. In case we don't succeed, we need a buffer area, because we all know if you just aim for this figure, you're going to get below that. And that's why a lot of businesses and teams don't succeed, because you've given them a low goal. You need to give them well above that so that they can exceed the goal, right? So give them this high goal that they can work towards. And then as a team, you have weekly and monthly incentives to get there. And you look as the business owner, even if your manager will send you a report every week, but every week you look at those figures and you let everybody know how they're tracking. And then once you get into a flow with this, then you have a team meeting every day, right? This is what I did. I had a team meeting every day. All of my staff, I would pay them early, pay them to get into the business early so that they would go through their own columns and their figures and figure out how much they would need to do each day with the clients that they have in to be able to hit their goals every week. So in the mornings, they would run a meeting for me and they'd let me know, okay, this is what I'm going to be doing today. This person's coming in, they're going to do this, da da da. I'm going to upsell this, I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to book them in here, and then da 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 da. So they would run the business meeting every morning for me and tell me what they were going to do in the business and how they were going to achieve it. So that's the level of leadership that you want, where you've delegated everything to these individuals so that they become so empowered and enrolled in your business that they're smashing it, that they're actually killing it, that they're teaching each other, oh, you're not going to hit your targets this week. And my team was so amazing. They'd be like, babe, you're not going to hit your targets this week. I'm smashing it. How about I give you some of like these clients so then you can like bring yourself up so that we can all win this week? Because that's how connected they were. Like, can you imagine having a team like that where they're willing to forgo some of their own commissions so that they can help out a mate? Like, it's so beautiful when people work that way together. Now, remember, I just had hairdressing salons, 7-figure hairdressing salons. But each and every year, I would figure out these different travel incentives that I could inspire my team with. So some of my teams were going to the UK, some of them were going to South Africa, some of them were going to places in Thailand, Germany. It just depended. I found the most fucking awesome trainings around the world where I'm like, how would you like to go to Germany this year to go to this huge Weller conference? It's like a multi-million-dollar conference. They're like, what? Like, what? Like, give your team something where they're like, holy shit, I never thought that I could do that. What? You're really willing to let me go there? I'm like, yeah, absolutely. This is the path that I would like you to go down so that you can get to there. So I give them like incentives that they would need to hit each week in order to have their trip paid to Germany or London or America or wherever it is that they're going. And yes, they're hairdressers. I know that they're going to be pissed half the time, but they're going to have a great time and they're going to come back and tell everybody else about it. And all the other hairdressers in our company or even people overseas would be like, I really want to work for you. I really want to work for you in your business. I had salons in Sydney and I had people reaching out to me from the UK saying, I've heard about the kind of leader that you are. I want to come and work for you. I was like, yes. Damn, let's go. So that's what you want. You want people to be able to find you out from your ethical leadership. Now, remember, I had 7-figure hairdressing salons, but my clients have been everybody from tradesmen. They have been people that have got online businesses, and I'm talking international businesses that have 100 staff, or more, anywhere from multi-million to billion-dollar businesses. So it's about that's what I mean. If your team is too big for you to actually do that, then you need to train your managers. So this is what you do with your managers, and then they can go and filter it out with your team. It doesn't matter whether you're in wellness, health, wealth, finances, investment, property, real estate, it's irrelevant. Everybody can be incentivized, even if they're factory workers. Everybody can be incentivized because there's things that you're not currently looking at that are gaps in your business that your team would be frothing over, right? So allow yourself or your managers and your teams to be able to go and speak to each one of the staff members so that there is nobody that is lagging and is left behind in your business. And honestly, the changes that you will see in your business are tenfold. Like you can literally 5-10x your business without any more clients just by doing these meetings. I've seen it, and this is what I educate my clients on, is getting in and delegating and changing things up, but from the bottom up, not from top down approach. What I mean by the bottom up is working on every single team member. Like for me, we had even our trainees or our apprentices. I had hundreds of teenagers over 25 years that were generally people that were on a lot of drugs, from really abusive families, that were the most unsupported individuals that there were. And I still would go in, or get my managers to as well, go in and educate these people on what their needs were. And their needs were never about money. Their needs were always about care, consideration, and personal growth, and just having a figure there that was able to support them and nurture them so that they could learn self-respect, so that they could learn self-worth, and really just learn to love themselves. So every team member is going to be completely different. And that's why I'm saying don't leave anybody behind, because when you have this approach where everybody's important, then everything changes. And you've also got to remember that what's in your business is like its own little country, right? You're creating this little country, and it creates its own frequency. The business has its own vibration and its own resonance that's going out there to the world. And you'll be surprised the clients that start to come in, and they love the frequency, the vibration of your business. It doesn't matter what kind of business you have, whether you are mining gold, whether you have a construction company, whether you are a real estate agent, whether you have a brokerage firm, it's irrelevant. Every person needs to be treated like an individual and be respected, and you will see that. And they also need a plan of how they can grow within your business, because once they have that growth mindset, they become open to expanding. And it's also so important for you to share what your great expectations are of them. So I would always say to my staff, this is like what you can do to just meet targets, and I'll be okay with that. You'll be able to cruise here. This is what you can do to exceed my expectations, and I'll be stoked. And this is what you'll receive here, and I will be so grateful for that. And then you can go above and beyond, and everybody is freaking winning next level. Like, you get the overseas trips, you get to, like, what is it that you need? I will help you have a 3-day work week. Whatever it is that you can do within those hours, I will go above and beyond for you. So if you let them know what it is that your expectations are, they will literally be like, hey, Blythe, I'm really sorry. I'm having a cruise week this week because I had that sickie and, it screwed me up. And it's like, but next week I will go, and I will supersede what I've done this week. So don't worry about it. Like, your team will start to become open and flexible with you, because you'll be open and flexible with them. Now, I also just want to point out the most important things that you can really make sure that you're landing all the time with your team is thinking about divine leadership, thinking about what divinity is. It's the combination between the masculine and the feminine, right? So thinking about what the feminine needs to be nurtured. It's safety. The feminine needs safety. So always allowing your team to know, and these elements are within every single one of your team member, letting them to know that there is safety, there is security there for them, without them having to do and go and supersede all of the expectations, but letting them know that this is there, and the more they achieve in the business, then the more freedom they'll get, because the freedom is the masculine. The masculine wants freedom and flexibility. So whilst the feminine wants the security, the masculine wants the freedom and the flexibility. Now it's about weaving those two together, and then you create that real divinity within your leadership. And that's what's so important. And that's what your team wants. They want that flexibility and freedom and fun and playfulness with the security, and knowing that that there is going to be a job there for them, and letting them know that these things exist because of the work that they do. There is freedom and flexibility and security there because they are making such a great effort, and because they are enrolled in your business. And when you are doing this, your team become 100% invested in your business. You are actually emotionally supporting their well-being, whilst financially supporting them, whilst supporting their family. You are being a new earth leader. And this is what divine leadership is about. And this is what your team is requesting of you. Oh, and I also forgot to mention, with the ripples of the frequency of what your business is, I just want to give an example of this. Like, my businesses were in the city, in Sydney, like literally Elizabeth Street, if you know it, it's the busiest area, next to Parliament House, next to all the law firms, the courthouses, all of that. And we were a hairdressing salon, right? But we would have people that were politicians, writers for Parliament, lawyers, doctors, plastic surgeons, all of these people coming into our business. And they'd always come in and they'd be like, okay, I need to be out of here in like 5 minutes. I don't have that much time. I've got to do. And we had this little ritual that we would do. We'd be like, yep, no problem. Come over to the basin. We'll get you shampooed, and give them like just a little grounding. Whilst they're getting their hair washed, just give them, like, my team's job was to just land, ground in with the client and just relax their nervous system, like the staff member, relax their nervous system and just allow that energy to flow into the client. Anyway, so the client would be there for 5 minutes and they'd be like, I'm going to have the afternoon off. I don't actually know what you guys are doing here, but I feel really good now and I'm just not going to go back to work. I'm just going to go and chill for the afternoon. And we'd be like, oh my gosh. And people would say to us, they're like, what is this place? It's like this weird vortex where you come in all stressed out and then you just totally relax and chill. And it makes me just feel so at home and at peace here. And my clients with their businesses, whether it's a real estate agent, whether it's a banking firm, whether it's a investment company or a tradesman or a contracting business, it's irrelevant. It's about tuning into your body and calming and relaxing and just allowing that frequency to flow through you. And it flows through your whole business. And then it actually attracts more clients in because they're like, I don't know why I needed to reach out to you guys or call you guys. You just popped up. I've been walking past you for a while and I just felt really inspired to come and connect and see what it is that you do here. Because your vibration within your business and your team vibrating on that certain frequency, or you being a new earth leader and your ethical leadership allows that ripple to go out into the world, and then your desired clients are actually magnetized towards you. So that is what I hope you get from this podcast, how to be a new earth leader, changing the vibration within your business, allowing yourself to lead your team to their greatest potential within your business. If this has raised questions for you, if you're wondering how you can actually apply this within your business, then reach out to me. Ask me the questions, book a discovery call, and let's get into how you can become an ethical leader and how you can change the frequency of your business by incentivizing and investing into your staff and your team. Thank you for joining me on Soul Temple. If this episode spoke to your soul, I would love your support with a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And do not forget to subscribe on your favorite platform. But don't let your journey end here. Connect with me and my like-minded community of souls at Blythe Langford on all social platforms. I really look forward to diving deeper with you on your journey.